So, Stacie, I want to begin by asking you how long you've been doing this work with me.
Mm, I've 23, 22, probably since 2022. So, 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you describe a little bit about where you were at when you first began this work? What was going on in your health, physically, mentally, emotionally? What were you experiencing that kind of opened this door for you to begin?
Yeah. I was exhausted. I was exhausted all the time. And mm, I was doing so many things all the time. And I can remember sitting at work and then having colleagues like talk about TV shows that they were watching or books that they were reading. And in some ways, I almost felt uh, like so envious
Mhm.
that, and I can remember saying, like, oh my God, you have time to watch TV? Like, how do you even have time in your day? And so I was just exhausted. I filled my day with so many things, and I would fall into bed at night and like fall asleep in 2.22 seconds just because I was purely exhausted. I had lots of physical ailments. I was probably 8 years out after cancer recovery. And then I had like things wrong with my knees, and I would just be walking down the stairs, and then my knee would just start swelling and just random aches and pains. And I can remember like getting out of bed in the morning and just being like creaking all the way into the bathroom. And my now ex-husband would say things like, I hope I never get as old as you feel.
Mm.
And he was 7 years older than me. So at 40 years old, like that's a harsh reality to just
Yeah.
feel like your body is failing you.
Mhm. And what would you say was the main reason or thing that brought you to begin this work? Was it the exhaustion? Was it something else?
Um, yes, like I didn't want to feel like this anymore. My sister had started coming and had encouraged me to, expand myself a little bit, and you know, I was like, yeah, I saw changes in her, and I wanted that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. How would you describe your physical health now compared to what you just described before you began this work?
Uh, I do not creep and pop all the way to the bathroom in the morning. So that's awesome. Yeah, physically on a day-to-day basis, I feel so much better. And when I do have physical ailments pop up, that's usually my body saying, "Hey, pay attention. This,
Mhm.
this is going on." And so, yeah, I just kind of look at symptoms differently. Mm, I'm a healthcare professional, and I was taught that we treat symptoms, but
Mm.
symptoms are um, not the problem. They're not the diagnosis. They are not, they are, I've learned that my symptoms typically are my body talking to me
Yeah.
and telling me something.
And can you compare and contrast how, like, when you would have a symptom, like when you felt exhausted, when your knees would pop and creak, like, how would you mentally and emotionally respond to that then versus, like, you've already talked a little bit about how it's different now, but what was the like plan of attack when you would experience physical symptoms before in the past?
Yeah. I think it added to my exhaustion
Mm.
because, I'm like, ugh, another thing. And now, I've got all this to do, and now I can barely even walk. And it was an inconvenience.
Hmm.
And I put a lot of stock into, um, yeah, getting relief from going to the doctor. Like,
Mm.
and I've never really been a pill person. I don't really, mm, I've always had the belief of, you know, Eastern medicine and Western medicine can mesh and kind of work together. So I've never been lock, stock, and barrel, Western medicine, just give me a pill and I'll put me in for surgery. So I always tried alternate therapies like physical therapy or, stuff like that. But I still was looking for relief of those symptoms.
Yeah. Can you share a moment when you applied this work in your life and you saw something change?
Yeah. One thing that I have been working on is leaning into my desires and choosing what my soul wants. And I had this trip planned to go to Yellowstone and the Badlands with my kids. And my sister came with us and we kind of caravanned out there. And as we were planning the trip, her family decided to extend the trip and they wanted to go all the way to California and go to Cars Land at Disneyland. And I kept telling myself, I can't. I
Mm.
only have 2 weeks of work or 2 weeks off of work, 2 weeks of vacation, and there's no way I can go. And I just wanted to go. I knew in my heart that I would never have a chance to take this trip with these
Mm.
people at this time in my life. And I just had just such a pull to go. And I kept fighting myself and like, I can't do it. And I only have this
Yeah.
much time off of work. And I finally leaned into my soul desire and I went in and told my boss, like a week before I was going on vacation, that I'm sorry. I don't know how this looks for you, but I'm going to California. I have to follow my soul. And I said, I'm going to be gone for a month. And this might be hard for you, but this is what I have to do for me. And uh and he said, he understood, but he said, I'm sorry, I have to post your position. So I basically got let go that day. And that was hard for me to not know what was in my future.
Mhm.
And I absolutely had the best time of my life. That was the most amazing trip. It fed my soul.
Yeah.
And for me, when I came back, I had a job. The very next day that I got back, it was only part-time. And within 3 days, I had already worked overtime that week and I was working full-time. So, like, that was a positive. Like, the universe said, go take care of yourself
Yeah.
and I'll take care of you.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so one of the things I talk a lot about in the book is fear and calling fear's bluff. And so you had to overcome a lot of fear in order to choose what mattered to you. And when you did, it all worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And what was that like in terms of like learning to trust yourself through that process?
Faith and trust feel very similar. It's just like taking that step and not knowing for certain what's going to happen. And there is, mm, I built a lot of my life around safety,
Mm.
and feeling safe. And if I do this, everything's going to work out. And uh, it's kind of a false sense of safety. And what I've learned is that if I follow my actual heart's desire, that everything does work out.
Mhm.
And uh, I it is still very hard to cross that line of fear. Um, but I'm learning like it's muscle memory. Like I keep practicing it, and I know that every time I jump, I'm caught.
What would you say to somebody who might be listening to you who knows they need to take a leap of faith or learn how to trust in themselves? What would you say is the support that has been essential? for you to be able to take that leap of faith in yourself? What did you surround yourself with, or what or who did you surround yourself with?
Yeah. Um, a lot of people are not taking that leap of faith. A lot of the people that I was surrounding myself with were not taking that leap of faith. They were more building that false sense of safety.
Hmm.
And so doing this work and finding other people in this community uh, have been essential because they're also doing the hard work and I mean, I say work, it's not really work, but it's work. It's different. It's stepping out of regular societal norms and there are people who are absolutely know exactly what I'm going through and have been there and they can just like hold space for me and understand what it's like and just be there as a sounding board and I can see them and be like, oh, for sure, they jumped off the mountain and look at them. They're thriving. They're doing amazing things. I can do that too.
Yeah.
And like, that's just so encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they've almost like stepped out of the rat race, like the hamster wheel. And, and it's scary because everybody's in the hamster wheel and they're doing all the things.
Hmm.
And to step out of that feels scary, but also other people have stepped out. And once you're out, then you see, oh, snap, they're out, they're out, they're out. And yeah, and it helps build that trust
Yeah,
that
a
everything's
thousand
gonna
percent.
work out.
Beautiful. So you talked a little bit about what your physical health looked like before you began this work, but your life, I know, has changed dramatically from 4 years ago to now. So I'm wondering if you could even talk a little bit about what life looked like for you 4 years ago and what it looks like now.
That is for me, I kept looking for the next thing. Like, oh,
Mm.
this feels bad, but like whenever I can get to vacation, I'm gonna feel so
Mhm.
much better. Whenever, I don't have to pay for the kids' college anymore, this is gonna be so much better. Whenever my son finally graduates from high school, whenever I get to retirement, I'll be able to relax. And I kept thinking and feeling like whenever I get to the next whatever major milestone, everything's going to be better. And it wasn't. Like I had whatever 40 some years of all of that and it never really did get better. And now that I'm uh yeah, now I am not looking forward to the next major milestone to feel better. I feel better every day. Every day I feel good. And I don't have to look at the milestone as my next goal. I can choose what my future is going to look like. And I don't have to wait until retirement, wait until the next job in order to feel better. I feel better today, and I know that the next job will support me. And if it doesn't, and if I don't feel good at that job, there's going to be another job. And if that job is great, but these people here aren't my people, I know that there's other people that are my people.
But also, I know you were married with children still at home, working full time as a nurse, and now you're preparing to move to Colorado on your own.
For sure.
So, also, like, if you wouldn't mind speaking to like the tangible things that have changed in your life.
The tangible things that have changed are so many. I was very sad and lonely in my marriage. And we had tried therapy and, multiple different avenues to try and improve that. And um, ultimately, I chose myself. I stepped away from the limiting beliefs that I was raised with that when you're married forever. And that was challenging, but yeah, I chose myself. I chose to divorce my husband.
But
I have lived on my own now. Um, I have gone on some amazing trips. I have met some amazing people. I don't really have the same friends that I used to. They still love the hamster wheel, and I don't. And yeah, I had a desire before I was married to do travel nursing and travel across the country and see what this beautiful country has to offer. And then I met my now ex-husband and I chose marriage, and we stayed here, and that was his desire. And so yeah, so now I'm literally in less than a week moving by myself to Colorado because the mountains are calling my name. I don't know anybody there. I don't have a job. So, yeah, so it feels very challenging, but also very freeing. Like I can step into this new chapter of my life, and the pages are blank, and I can write
Mm,
the chapter of my own book. I don't have to try and squeeze myself into this pre-filled chapter,
yeah.
insert Stacie's name, insert her job, insert whatever, insert her friends. Nope. This is
Mhm.
my chapter of my book, and it's blank, and I can write it however I want.
Beautiful. And how has your relationship with your children evolved through this process? What did that look like before, and what does it look like now?
Yeah, that's been a bumpy ride. Um,
And how old are your kids?
my daughter is 22, my son is 20. Um, so they were teenagers when I started this. Um, I can remember my daughter's boyfriend coming over for a visit, and he had put his clothes in the wash, and I had brought them upstairs and folded them and put them neatly on his bed. And he's like, "What are you doing? I can do that. I can take care of my own laundry." And I was like, "No, no, no, it's fine. I got it. You just stay here and relax and visit." I was doing the things, all of the things. And I can remember him like stopping me and my daughter saying, "Don't worry, she needs to be needed." And I've spent my entire life working to please other people so that I could feel needed.
Hmm.
And that shifted. And that was hard because I stopped doing the things. And what if I stop, folding the laundry? Are my kids still going to need me um
And love me. Are they still gonna
and
love
love
me?
me,
Right?
love me, need me? And what shifted for me is the desire um, to be with them. I want to be in relationship with my kids, and they want me. And that's been the huge shift rather than them needing me to do things for them and me needing to do the things for them.
Yeah.
So it shifted from a need to a want.
Yeah.
And it's deepened our relationships. We talk more, we do things more. We already have plans for a trip coming up in May, and um to just spend time together,
Yeah.
not to go and do and fill. We're like going to a national park. We're probably going to do some camping, and we're just going to like be with each other.
Yeah, so it's almost like you spend less time with them overall, but the quality of time that you have with them has improved because of getting rid of those old dynamics that
Yeah,
weren't serving you or them.
for sure. For sure.
Beautiful. Who would you recommend this work to?
I would recommend this work to anyone who is sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Anyone who's tired of being in the rat race, anyone who keeps looking for the next best thing and does it and then goes right back to the same
Mm,
way
yeah.
because it's not about that next thing.
Mhm. And what would you tell somebody who maybe wants to do the work, but they're either afraid or don't have enough money, they're making all the excuses?
You're worth it.
Hmm.
You're worth it 100%. I think, especially for women, we've been taught to mm, give everything to our kids, our husbands, our family, like almost abandon ourselves for the family. And that's not actually true.
Mhm.
That's not actually true. Take the time, make the investment, because when you get on an airplane and you go through the safety instructions, they tell you to put on your oxygen mask first. I mean, it's right there. Like, and you can't help other people when you're already dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I feel like this work teaches you how to put your own mask on first. Like people hear that all the time and we get it, like we get the concept, but it's like, how do we actually do that?
yeah,
And I think the wisdom healing system like, gives you the roadmap to be able to do that for yourself.
yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that you've probably heard me say this, like my life since I've been doing this work is infinitely more joyful than it was before. What is that energy for you that like my life is infinitely more happy, joyful? Like what is the felt sense that you now have access to or the experience in your body that you now have access to that maybe you didn't before you started this work?
Yeah. I would say peace and joy are my top ones.
Mm,
I was surrounded by all of the people, and yet I was so lonely. And now I have less things and people, and I am so not lonely. I am satisfied. I am thrilled. I love it all and joyful.
yeah.
I feel like joy does not exist at the next vacation. It does not exist
Mhm.
at retirement. Joy is mine every day. And I look at things differently and I'm able to find joy in a lot of the little things.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed in my own life. I used to count down 10 days until vacation, 20 in college, it was like 20 days until the semester is over. That like it was constantly just living for the next thing. Um, and the experience of peace, enjoy it too, but peace is like it's so different when our peace is not dependent on circumstances or people or things around us, but rather being able to kind of shut it all off and just come back to center and know what do I need in order to be at peace within myself. It's such a different way to create our world and our reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've always said I was a beach person. Like I would go to the ocean, and I think going to the ocean was like my first experience of actual peace. And so
Mm,
I thought
same.
that it was there,
Yeah.
and that's why I was always living for my vacations because it was like an access point for me to know that peace is there. And now
Hmm.
that I've been doing the work, peace isn't at the ocean, peace is right here. And I can choose to tap into that anytime I want.
Beautiful. Last question, maybe. What would you say has surprised you the most about this work?
This was an easy one for me. The thing I've gone to therapy before, and this work isn't really therapy sessions, but it's the closest thing that I can mm, like tell somebody who hasn't been doing the work.
Hmm.
But I would come out of a therapy session and sometimes I would just feel so bad. Like we would dig up so much stuff and then there it is. It's, well, we'll see you next week. And so like I've dug up all this stuff and now there's just all this pain and dirt and suffering and we've dug it up and then that's it. And when I finish like a wisdom healing session, I feel light as air.
Mm,
And I dig up some stuff.
yeah.
I dig it up but like I dig it up and I sort through it. And when I'm done, I'm like, I'm peaceful. I'm 10 pounds lighter. I feel joyful. I feel like uh, any kind of shame, guilt, fear that I had coming in before the session, like evaporated. Like it's
Mm.
like you doing it. You got this. And yeah, light as air.
What do you think is the difference between traditional therapy and what you experience in the wisdom healing? What is the difference that accounts for that lightness at the end of a session?
I think, especially for me, mm, there's no shame, there's no judgment, there's no mm, person just writing down all the things passing judgment about the things that I've already judged myself on.
Mm,
Um, there's just um, understanding and acceptance.
hmm
Yeah. Like if I've done something and oh well maybe this is what you did because whatever uh, programming from when you were a child and this feels like shame, but there's nothing to be ashamed of. You are doing a pattern.
hmm
What would it feel like to not do that pattern?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think as I hear you talk, the book that I've just written, it's heavy on desire. Like desire is the
Mhm.
key that flips everything. And I think what I hear you speaking to is not just the release of shame, but also the permission to have desires, to know what we desire, to go after what we desire is really big in this work as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am certain that I was not put on this earth to live for other people's desires.
But you haven't always believed
I
that.
haven't always believed that. Now that right? I mean, yeah, yeah, it's almost like, oh, for sure, you want to get married and have kids, great. Now your life becomes their life, and that's not true. That's not true.
hmm
And so, to be able to step back and be like, for sure, what do I actually want? Um, it's kind of crazy. And I know that I just became complacent in a lot of things, like um, pizza. This is such a big one for me. And uh, my family used to only prefer sausage, mushroom, and onion pizza. Is sausage, mushroom, and onion good? For sure. I like a smo. I don't want smo every single time. Can I get some spinach on that? Can we throw in some black olives?
Mm.
No. And so I would just be like, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because I can't eat a whole pizza by myself. So it felt hard, bad, shameful to order a pizza with the toppings that I want because I can eat a smo. It's fine.
hmm
And so I just kept squelching my own desires.
Yeah. I think it might be easy for someone listening to hear, oh my gosh, I have to leave my marriage and move to a different state and do all these things. But here you are talking about pizza toppings. And so maybe even speak for a moment about how it's not necessarily the big life-changing moments. Like, of course, those change your life, but sometimes it's the small, just like saying, I want spinach today instead of sausage, that has so much power to start shifting things. What would you say for you have been like the micro
For
things, or
sure.
how even I think with this work, it's often the micro choices that have more impact than the
100%.
macro. And yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Pizza. I ordered my own pizza and did I wrap it up and throw it in the freezer so I could have my own pizza later? For sure I did. But like being able to give myself permission for that. And so giving myself permission to be like, I want stir fry today. I'm making it and make it and enjoy it and let other people be uncomfortable. Why do I have to always be uncomfortable? So yeah, just the little things to give myself permission to, yeah, go for a walk. I really want to go to Lake Michigan today. Nobody wants to go. Everybody hates the
Yeah.
sand. Fine. You do your thing. I'm going to do my thing
Yeah.
and give myself, it doesn't have to be everybody all together. I think that's
hmm
how I was raised is like, well, this is the family. We're doing the family things. Why? Why do we, for sure, we can do the family things on this day, but on this other day, I want to go and listen to the waves crash into Lake Michigan. You
Yeah.
don't want the sand? Don't go. It's fine.
Yeah, I find that a lot of people come into this work focusing on too big of questions, like, do I need to leave my job? Should I leave my marriage? Should I not have kids? Or and those are too big of questions to begin with. It starts with like, do you want pepperoni or spinach on your pizza? Do you want to go to the beach or do you want to stay home? Like those are the moments where we change our life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's building the trust muscle,
hmm
right? And and trusting that you will be satisfied in eating the spinach and the black olives on your pizza, and that it's okay if somebody else is not satisfied with that choice. They can make their own choices.
Yeah.
And
Thank you,
mm,
Stacie, for being here. I know that you leave for Colorado in a
in
week,
1 week, yeah,
in
with
1 week.
one
And
week.
so you're busy packing, and I'm so grateful that you just took some of your valuable time and
Absolutely.
brought it here to share your journey with us. It's so beautiful, and I'm so excited to see what unfolds when you get there.
Thank you. Yes, glad to be here. Um, so thankful that I was introduced to this work and stuck with it and chose me. Um, my life is far different than I thought it would be, and for the better. Like
Hmm.
I'm not still sad and lonely. I'm not sad and lonely looking for retirement, hoping for relief.
Yeah, you're
I have
living
relief.
life now.
Yeah. Tomorrow's
Yeah.
not promised. And like as a nurse, I know that tomorrow is not promised. And so do the thing today. You're worth it today. Choose
Mm,
you today.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.